Welcome to our channel. In this video, we'll show you how to get involved in developing the Greengage DB project and make your first contribution to its codebase. Greengage DB is an open-source, massively parallel processing database built on Greenplum. This guide will walk you through submitting your first pull request step by step. If you're new to Greengage DB, check out our Quick Start with Greengage DB video, which walks you through preparing the environment, building the database from source, and setting up a working cluster. The Greengage DB source code is hosted on GitHub under the Greengage DB organization. On this page, you'll find several repositories. For example, Greengage, which contains the core components of the database engine, and PXF, which provides the platform extension framework for accessing external data sources. There are several ways to contribute to Greengage DB. You can provide feedback or report issues to improve stability and usability, or contribute directly to the codebase by fixing bugs or adding new features. When you're ready to start contributing, you can either come up with your own issue or pick an existing one to work on. We're planning to introduce a public bug tracker and a dedicated feature request list to make it easier for external contributors to find tasks that match their interests and skills. For more details on the contribution process, check out our blog article, How to Contribute to Greengage DB. Before you start making changes, you need to create a personal copy of the Greengage DB repository. Go to the Greengage repository on GitHub. Click Fork to create your own copy of the repository. On the next page, uncheck Copy the main branch only, since we'll be making a patch for the 7.x branch. Click Create Fork to complete the process. Once your fork is ready, click the Code button and copy the repository URL. You'll need it to clone the repository locally. Now, open your terminal and use the git clone command to clone your fork locally. Wait for the repository to finish downloading. This may take a few minutes depending on your connection. Once the clone is complete, open the project in your IDE of choice. Finally, switch to the 7.x branch to make your patch. Now your local environment is ready and you can start working on your contribution. For this demonstration, we'll use a known issue in Greengage DB related to Orca statistics handling, which can cause the server to terminate unexpectedly during query optimization. To reproduce the problem, we'll use a pre-built Docker image of Greengage DB intended for testing purposes. Among the available images, there is one specifically for Greengage DB 7. Pull this image to your local environment. Next, run a demo cluster using the image you just pulled. This command launches a temporary interactive container with the necessary system parameters and an active SSH service. Once the container is running, let's initialize the demo Greengage DB environment. Source the setup script to load helper functions. Install and configure Greengage DB by calling the install and configure gpdb function. Next, create the system user account that will run and manage the cluster. Finally, create and start the demo cluster by running make cluster. Once the demo cluster is running, you can log in as the gpadmin user to interact with the database. To observe the problem in action, follow these steps after logging into the demo cluster. Create test tables distributed randomly. Run the following query to trigger the issue. The server crashes and returns an error message. This confirms the problem we'll later work on fixing. Once the issue is reproduced, you can report it in the project's issue tracker. Open the Greengage DB repository's issues page on GitHub. Click New Issue and select the Bug Report template. In the form that opens, provide a clear and concise title for the issue, then fill in the required details. Describe the problem, list the exact steps to reproduce it, explain the expected behavior, and include environment information such as the Greengage DB version, operating system, and client application. Once everything is filled in, click Create to submit the issue. For this specific issue, we'll also add a comment describing the root cause. In this case, the problem is related to Orca statistics handling. which leads to an incorrect state during query optimization and causes the server to terminate unexpectedly. After reproducing the bug, it's time to apply a fix. First, switch back to your IDE where you clone the repository. For demonstration simplicity, we already have a ready patch that fixes the issue, which we apply using git apply. Use git status to see the changed files. Stage the modified files and commit them with a descriptive message explaining the fix. After committing your patch, the next step is to build a Docker image that includes your fix. This image will be used to run all tests in a controlled environment. Once the image is ready, start by running the GP Orca unit tests to ensure that the optimizer components behave correctly. After the unit tests pass, run the full regression tests. Note that this step can take a significant amount of time. Finally, run the Orca linter to check for code style and consistency across the optimizer code. Completing these tests ensures that your fix works as expected and doesn't introduce any new issues. After testing in Docker, rerun the demo cluster to make sure everything works as expected. Start a new container using the image that includes your fix and initialize the demo cluster. Recreate the test tables and run the same query. With the fix applied, it now completes successfully and the explain command produces a proper query plan. This confirms that your patch resolves the issue and the demo cluster is functioning correctly. Once you verify that the fix works correctly in the demo cluster, the next step is to push your changes to your fork on GitHub. First, check that you're on the correct branch for your patch. Then, make sure the remote repository points to your fork. Finally, push the branch to the fork. This makes your changes available on GitHub and ready for a pull request. With your branch pushed to GitHub, it's time to open a pull request. Go to your forked repositories page and click Compare and Pull Request. In the comparison view, change the base branch to 7.x as this is the branch on which our fix is based. Next, provide a clear title and a short description of your pull request. Include a link to the related issue so that reviewers can easily trace the context. When everything looks good, click Create Pull Request. After the pull request is created, GitHub automatically triggers several security and validation checks. They require manual approval from a maintainer before running. These help ensure that no malicious code is introduced and that sensitive credentials used in continuous integration are protected. Once the security checks are passed, the test workflows will begin. Sometimes a few tests may fail due to flaky behavior or environment issues rather than problems in your code. If that happens, contact the maintainers and ask them to help review the failures or rerun the tests. Once all tests have passed, it's time for the maintainers to review the patch. A reviewer looks through the pull request description and all modified files, evaluates the benefits of the proposed changes, and assesses their potential impact on project stability and safety. During this process, the reviewer may leave comments, ask questions, or suggest improvements. After the author and the reviewer agree that the patch is ready, another member of the architectural committee performs a final review and approves the changes for merging. The final merge into the main repository is done by a project maintainer with right permissions. And that's it. Your contribution is complete and officially becomes part of the Greengage DB project. To learn more, visit greengagedb.org for our roadmap, latest releases, blog updates, and documentation. Thanks for watching.